Hi there, everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of January, 2024. Welcome to this episode of The Morning Mug. So this track that you're listening to right now connects to a couple different things that I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm going to hit pause on that sucker so we don't get a copyright infringement claim. Here we go. So some this day in history to start off our Tuesday. 1493, Christopher Columbus sees his first manatee. Mistaken it at first for a mermaid and described it as, quote, not half as beautiful as they're painted. There's a lot of things I want to say about that. There's a lot of things I want to say about Christopher Columbus, but I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee instead. Please hold. Okay, moving on. Frank Ott's sneeze. This was something mentioned on the January 7th episode of The Mug, the first motion picture recording of a sneeze. Well, I'm bringing it up again because today, January 9th, 1894, it gets a copyright from the U.S. Patent Office, and it's the first patent for a creative work in this format, meaning film. Thought that was pretty cool. So, another important thing, 1959. Classic Western Rawhide premieres starring Clint Eastwood. The song Rawhide, released by Frankie Lane. It is on the Morning Mug playlist if you'd like. And that first song that I played for you sounded a little bit like Western, like, you know, dude walking into a saloon, opens the doors, kind of looks at both sides. Yeah, absolutely. But that takes us talking about Clint Eastwood, talking about our first and one of my favorite connections that I've come across for Daily Dose of Hanks. He was on the Graham Norton show and talking about, he meaning Tom Hanks, talking about his working relationship with Clint Eastwood, two incredible stars, and they're getting together. Clint Eastwood in the role of director, directing Tom Hanks in the title role of Sully, the film Sully, Miracle on the Hudson, the airplane pilot that landed the airplane on the Hudson River. And in that Graham Norton interview, he talks about Clint Eastwood as a director, and it's absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to do a whole dissertation on it for you right now, but I am going to put that link to that interview in the description down below so you can take a look at that. This day in history, 1960, the Aswan High Dam construction begins. So Aswan is in southern Egypt. So let's imagine this is the general shape of Egypt. Alexandria is up here, Cairo's about here, we're down here. We're getting closer to its border with Sudan. There's the Nile River. The Nile flows from south to north. It dumps into the Mediterranean, okay? So Aswan building a dam, therefore the water is going to start to pile up. Is that the right word for water? But it's a hydroelectric plant that they're building. So what's going to happen is some of the banks of the Nile are going to flood. And there's a whole bunch of temples that are down here that some of them are actually underwater. But one of the most important ones, built by Ramses II, Pharaoh Ramses II, is called Abu Simbel. And there's a main temple. It has 4 statues of Ramses. He thought of himself so amazingly. He had 4 statues of himself in the front. And there's a smaller temple next door that alternates pictures of him and his wife, one of his wives. But anyway, the United States government, the Soviet Union, and others contributed money to having the Abu Simbel cut into chunks, taken apart, moved a few hundred yards off of the bank, and put back together to preserve that piece of Egyptian history and ultimately human history, all because of the construction of the Aswan Dam. 1984, Van Halen's album 1984 debuts. 1991, Michael Jordan hits that 15,000 point career mark when he was playing for the Chicago Bulls. 1996, another television show debut, Third Rock from the Sun. I remember watching this with Dad. Dad, you remember? If you've seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, you're probably never going to watch a mug ever again. But the general gist is there are 4 aliens. They embody 4 humans, and they try to learn about humanity. And a second, this is the first time this has happened, y'all. A Daily Dose of Hanks connected to the previous Daily Dose of Hanks in this way. I mentioned connected to Clint Eastwood and Tom Hanks. He was on the Graham Norton show, sitting on the couch next to Tom Hanks, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was on Third Rock from the Sun. It's so fun when this happens. Okay. Anyway, so again, please check in the description down below for that link. Let's go over to birthdays. 1859, Carrie Chapman Catt, founder of the League of Women Voters, suffragette, taking the more, taking a diplomatic approach to getting the right to vote versus leaders like Alice Paul, who are going to take a little bit more radical steps. But happy birthday. Happy birthday, Carrie. Thank you for everything you've done. I haven't missed an election yet since I've been able to vote. I've done every single one. 1908, born Simone de Beauvoir. Born in 1913, 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon. I am not a crook. 1935, Bob Denver, the actor who played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, is born. 1941, Joan Baez, the folk singer. And 1982, Her Royal Highness Catherine, Princess of Wales. Happy birthday. She turns 42 today. I hope she gets to do something fun. Now we shift to the two mega birthdays. One's a little bit more mega for me than the other. Hold on, gotta crank it. Gotta crank it. It's gonna get noisy. Enjoy this. Today is the birthday of James Patrick Page, also known as Jimmy Page, the guitarist from Led Zeppelin. Now everything else is loud. I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Okay. One of my favorite guitar heroes. I even have a double neck guitar, the cheaper version of what he has. Absolute amazing musical mastermind. And no joke, for a while, I used to send a birthday card to Atlantic Records hoping it would get to Jimmy. I doubt it ever did. Haven't done it for a couple years. But happy birthday to you, good sir. Born in 1944, West London suburb of Heston. His family moved to Surrey when he was about 12. Picked up a guitar, started teaching himself, took a couple lessons, but had a lot of influence from American greats, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, and I'm fascinated with the back and forth influence-ness between the United States and the UK. Same thing with Eric Clapton, a contemporary of Jimmy Page, influenced a lot by American blues. And then we have American artists who are influenced by the bluesy rock work of your Jimmy Page, your Jeff Beck, your Eric Clapton. Kind of a back and forth relationship. In 2005, Jimmy Page was awarded the OBE, the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, for public service, actually for some Brazilian charities, but also for his work in the arts. Inducted twice to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 1992 for his work with the Yardbirds, and 1995 for Led Zeppelin. So I have a confession. I'm going to turn all the music off. I have a confession. When I turned 16, took my permit test, and I passed. And then Dad took me on a trip to Cleveland, Ohio, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I was excited when we got to the part of the exhibition space where there was a jumpsuit, a Jimmy jumpsuit that had, dragon on it, really classic. And also an acoustic guitar that was used by Jimmy to write music for the first 4 Led Zeppelin albums. Here's the confession. I reached across into the exhibition space and I touched the E string of the guitar. Yeah, immense guilt for the rest of the time. Dad, I don't know if you ever knew that I did this. I went, ding. Thank goodness nothing broke. Thank goodness I did not get caught. And I did take a look at Ohio state law. The statute of limitations for trespassing is 4 years, and the statute of limitations damage to personal property. Had I caused damage, I did not. That's 2 years. So I'm in the clear. But I will tell you, I have never touched a museum object since then without gloves. My time working at the Hershey Museum, gloves all the time. And I yelled at other people. Like, that stuck with me. So that was a learning experience. Okay, so now I'm debating if I should actually publish this particular episode, but all right, it's already out there. Jimmy, session musician also for, you heard the song Diamonds, released by Jet Harris, 1963 #1 single. That was at the very beginning of the Mug episode. It is also on the Mug playlist for you. Session work for The Who and for the Kinks, credited on 2 of the tracks on the Kinks' debut album. And I need to corroborate this one, the song Can't Explain by The Who. It's one of my favorite songs of theirs. Played some of the rhythm guitar. Pete Townsend, the guitar player for The Who, the guy, maybe, you know, the windmill guy, you know, did not want to give Jimmy credit for that. And also did some contributing guitar for Hard Day's Night by the Beatles, 1964. No idea. Happy birthday, Jimmy. So I think in my classes we're going to have some Zeppelin playing today, but not too loud because there's testing going on down the hallway. And there's one more celebrity birthday born this day, 1967. Awesome guitar player as well. Songwriter, Dave Matthews. So I had no idea until today that Jimmy and Davey share a birthday. So today is going to be filled with a whole bunch of great music. Whether or not my classes want to listen to it, we're going to be listening to it. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. I hope you have a great day, or you had a great day if you're watching, getting ready to go to bed. So until tomorrow, behave, be good, be kind, recycle when appropriate, wash those hands, and take care of each other. See ya.